So, turns out in Germany, if the German equivalent to the FBI, the BFV, I believe it's called, if they decide that you are a extremist group, they can just spy on you willy nilly, just spy on you, which is what's happening to Germany's right wing. I mean, this article calls them far right, but their current opposition party, which is a right wing party, um, very much a Germany for Germans party, which is a right wing position. I won't deny, but it's not. They're not racists the way that the BFV would like you to think they are. No, I mean this is kind of a German equivalent to the MAGA movement, in my opinion, or at least from what I know about it. But yeah, shout out to Reuters. German spy agency brands right-wing AfD as extremists, open way for closer surveillance. It's kind of like what Obama did to, the MAGA campaign, except, he didn't have to call anybody extremist. He could just do it because he's the president. Germany's spy agency on Friday classified the far-right Alternative for Germany, AfD, which in German, Alternative for Germany would be like Alternative for Deutschland, but I don't know like the actual German words, but anyway, labeled them as extremist, enabling it to step up monitoring of the country's biggest opposition party, which decried the move as a blow against democracy. And it is. It is. It's not a good thing. It's not good that they did this. An 1,100-page experts report found AfD to be racist and anti-Muslim organization, based a designation that allows the security service to recruit informants and intercept party communications, which has revived calls for the party's ban. Yep. Because Germans, you can't have like a pro-German, not a pro-Germany country, but a pro-German, as in the people who are indigenous to the land we now know today as Germany. You cannot have a pro-German party without them automatically wanting it to be like done away with because they're so afraid that they're going to get compared. Not the people in the party. The people in the party don't care, but like other Germans and mainstream like German political parties, they don't want anything that's even remotely Nazi-ish. They're afraid of, and the AfD isn't. They're not Nazis. There's nothing Nazi about it. It turns out you can be pro-German and pro-Germany and not also be a National Socialist. You can do both. It's doable. It's kind of a long article, to be honest. And well, actually, it's not that long. It looked longer earlier when I was kind of skimming through it. Quote, central to our assessment is the ethnically and ancestrally defined concept of the people that shapes the AfD, which devalues entire segments of the population of Germany and violates their human dignity, the BFV Domestic Intelligence Agency said in a statement. Let's read that again. The ethnically and ancestrally defined concept. So this is a German party for Germans. Germany for Germans. As far as I know, there's nothing in the AfD's like platform that says non-Germans are flat out not allowed to live or work in Germany. Nothing of the sort. It's just it's time for the German nation to start, prioritizing its native-born citizens again. Nothing wrong with that. This concept is reflected in the party's overall anti-immigrant and anti-Muslim stance, it said, accusing the AfD of stirring up irrational fears and hostility towards individuals and groups. Well, fuck Muslims. Like, let's just get that let's get that right out of the way. I got no love for Islam. Islam is not a race. Islam is a religion. There are white Muslims, and fuck them too. There are Asian Muslims, fuck them too. Like, Islam is cancer. Simple as. The BFV agency said such a classification the BFV agency needs such a classification to be able to monitor a political party because it is more legally constrained than other European intelligence services, a reflection of Germany's experience under both Nazi and communist rule. Yeah. Other organizations classified as extremists in Germany are neo-Nazi groups such as the National Democratic Party. See, there's actual neo-Nazis there. Islamist groups include Islamic State. Well, actually, National Democratic Party, I would have to know more about them. I've not really heard of them, and the fact that Reuters calls them neo-Nazi makes me wonder if they really are. Islamist groups, including Islamic State, and left ones such as the Marxist-Leninist Party of Germany. So, like, you can kind of infer what those groups are about based on the names. You know, Islamic State, fuck them, and is a political party called the Islamic State has no business holding office or holding any kind of power in the land of the Germans. Would, Syria or Saudi Arabia or Yemen or Lebanon or any Muslim country out there, would they allow a bunch of Christian Germans to come down there and just demand like to be to be running to be able to run the country for you? It's like, Joe, trust me, bro. We're gonna take your best interests at heart. I assure you. Even though we're Christian Germans and you're, Arab Muslims, like we're totally gonna do what's best for both of us. I would not blame the Arab Muslims for going, no, not happening. The agency was able to act after the AfD last year lost a court case in which it had challenged its previous classification by the BFV as an entity suspected of extremism. The move follows other setbacks the far right across Europe has suffered in recent months as it seeks to translate surging support into power. They include the ban on France's Marine Le Pen contesting the 2027 presidential election after her embezzlement conviction. Yeah, because she got convicted of embezzlement, she can't run for president of France, which is bullshit. I don't know the full details of her case, but I don't buy it. I think it's just a political hit job by the Macron government because every time she's run against him, she's gotten closer and closer to beating him. And he's afraid she's finally going to pull it off. And the postponement of Romania's presidential vote after a far-right candidate won the first round. Imagine that. Romania does rounds of voting. In the first round, the guy that wins is the far-right candidate. So Romania just goes, never mind, we're not doing voting anymore because the guy we didn't want to win won, so we're just going to throw the whole game out. Because that makes sense, doesn't it? What's the point of even allowing people to vote if this is what you're going to do? The move follows other setbacks. Oh, my bad. Very serious. After France and Romania, another theft of democracy, wrote Matteo Salvini, deputy Italian prime minister and leader of the far-right party, the League, on X. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said Germany should reverse course on branding the AfD as extremist, while U.S. billionaire Elon Musk, who threw his support behind the party ahead in February elections, warned against banning it. Quote, banning the centrist AfD, Germany's most popular party, would be an extreme attack on democracy, said Musk on X. The AfD denounced its designation as a politically motivated attempt to discredit and criminalize it. And I agree. I think that's exactly what they're doing. Quote, the AfD will continue to take legal action against these defamatory attacks that endanger democracy. Co-leaders Alice Weidel and Tino Trupala said in a statement. So, yeah, I think that the right-wing party of, Elon Musk called it centrist, but I don't know. Everything I know about it seems pretty right-wing. But yeah, they're trying to claim, they're trying to destroy it. They don't want it to win. German parliament can now attempt to limit or halt public funding for AfD, but for that, authorities would need evidence that the party is explicitly out to undermine or even overthrow German democracy. Doesn't sound like they are. It sounds like they want to get elected into power legitimately. Meanwhile, civil servants who belong to an organization classified as extremist face possible dismissal depending upon their role within the entity, according to Germany's interior minister. So yeah, if you're a civil servant and you're a member of AfD, they can have the authority to just fire you unilaterally. The stigma may also make it harder for the AfD, which currently tops several polls and is Germany's most successful right-wing party since World War II, to attract members. The BFE's decision comes days before conservative leader Friedrich Merz is due to be sworn in as Germany's new chancellor amid a heated debate within his party over how to deal with AfD in the new Bundestag, or lower house of parliament. Yeah, so the Conservative Party is coming into power in Germany, and even they are completely cucked. The AfD won a record number of seats in the national election in February, coming in second behind Merz's Conservatives, which in theory entitled it to chair several key parliamentary committees. A prominent Merz ally, Jens Spahn, has called for the AfD to be treated as a regular opposition party to prevent it casting itself as a victim. Yes, you don't want to martyr them; it'll just make them more popular. However, other established parties and many conservatives have rejected that approach and could use Friday's news to justify blocking AfD attempts to lead communities. Quote, starting today, no one can make excuses anymore. This is not a Democratic Party, said Manuela Schwesig, premier of Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, premier of Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, and senior member of the Social Democrats, who are about to form a government with the Conservatives. That's why the Conservatives won. They got a coalition going on. Under the new government, authorities should review the ban on AfD. SPD leader Lars Klingbeil told Bild newspaper, BILD, I think is how you'd say that. I don't know. These German words are throwing me off. SPD's outgoing chancellor, Olaf Scholz, on Friday called for a careful evaluation and warned against rushing to outlaw the party. Created in 2013 to protest the Eurozone bailouts, the Eurosceptic AfD morphed into an anti-migration party after Germany's decision to take in a large wave of refugees in 2015. And we all know how that turned out. A bunch of German women got SA'd. They got sexually assaulted. So, yeah. Germany, hopefully they don't cuck themselves too hard. Hopefully in the next round, whenever that is, I don't know the full details on Germany's parliamentary system, but hopefully AfD can win more seats. Hopefully they can win a majority of seats, and then their guy can be prime minister. You know, provided that they don't get completely shafted by this government, and get turned into, you know, get get completely dismantled because they got labeled as extremists, and then the government used all of its power to take them apart. But yeah, no, if you agree or disagree or anything, just comment. Comment, 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 comment. That's the best thing you can do is comment. I mean, liking and subbing is good. Everything you do is good. Watching, smashing the like button, subbing to the channel, those are all good. But when it comes to algorithm, engagement is what we need, and I need comments. So feel free to comment. And then also, follow the links, sub to all of my other alternative channels, and follow me on X, and, throw me a bone. You know what I should have done? I should have looked up how to say throw me a bone in German and then ended the episode saying that, but I didn't. Oh well. Throw me a bone.